This is Dennis Wing with your Friday Rhythm Games. Today we're talking about accuracy and, more importantly, making the music feel good. I think the two of them go hand in hand. I mean, in my opinion, the highest priority is making the music feel good versus accuracy. If you're making the music feel good for yourself and other people, and you're not totally accurate, then that's better than being totally accurate and not making the music feel good. So I think everyone would agree with that. But they also go hand in hand pretty much. I mean, like Mike Longo in his Rhythmic Nature of Jazz course says that you get feeling from the music. When the music is played accurately, it automatically produces feeling. And that's what great rhythm does. It's like not an intellectual thing. And so what I've devised is a exercise for you to try. Of course, I'm going to demonstrate it as well. But I'd like for you to try this too and report back how you make out. What we're going to do is, I selected a tempo. Mine happens to be 80 beats a minute because I already predict that at that slow tempo I'm gonna rush, and so I wanted it to be a tempo that I'm sort of weaker at, if you see what I mean. And so for 2 minutes, I have my little timer here. I'm gonna listen to the metronome for a few bars, maybe 4 bars, and then shut it off and continue playing. I'm going to record myself into my looper without the metronome, and then just press stop when it hits 2 minutes. Then I'm going to take the recording and put it in my DAW, which is on the other side of the room. That's why I don't want to do it on the DAW. I don't want to be tempted to like listen to the click or even look at the screen which shows the grid. You know, I'm just going to do this without that, and then I'm going to put it in the DAW and analyze it to the metronome. Like after 2 minutes, what happened? Am I ahead of the time or whatever? And I have a feeling, like I've done stuff like this before, and I'm going to predict what's going to happen. I'm going to be ahead by the end, much as I try not to. I'm going to be ahead, like I'll have, by the 2 minute mark, I'll have pushed ahead a few beats or something over the course of, several 12-bar blues forms, which is what I'm going to play. And then that's only part one. Part two is, I'm going to do the whole thing again, but this time think subdivisions. Not just think, but feel subdivisions. So I won't demonstrate that yet because right now I just want to do it where I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just playing, having fun. I'm not prioritizing the rhythm. I'm just going to play. So I'm not going to make you listen to the whole 2 minutes of me doing this right now, but I'll at least record to get started. And then we'll analyze it in a little while. I'm going to put the metronome at 80. I'm going to hit the timer for 2 minutes. I'm going to hit record and go like 1, 2, 3, and then start playing. Okay, so I got that. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to do the whole exercise again, where I'm thinking and feeling the subdivisions. Now, the subdivisions in this, like, whatever example you choose for yourself, the subdivisions are the ones that bring about that particular style the most. So in my style here, because it's funky and it's slow, I'm going to do 16th notes. So I'm literally thinking and feeling not just da 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 da, but dakadim dakadim daka dakadim 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 daka dakadim. Like I'm really gonna get that in my blood, but I'm still only gonna listen to the metronome for the first 4 bars or something. So we're gonna do the exact same scenario on a new track, and here we go. Like. I'm setting my timer. Here we go. And then I'll count it off. there's my timer on that. Now we're going to put both files in the DAW and check it out and see what happens. All right, so here's the results, and I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna analyze this. It was mostly as I predicted, with a few subtle surprises. Now let me just orient you. This pink file is the first take I did, where I wasn't thinking subdivisions, and the yellow is where I was. Then I duplicated both of those, and what I did was I matched them up with the green, which is the 12 bar form at 80 beats a minute, and not including the count off here, I analyzed by ear where the downbeat was at the top of the cycle, because I know my phrasing and everything, so, and I had just played it, so I kind of remembered what I did, and so I by ear marked the downbeat of the next cycle. So this first pink one, it means that I basically rushed by a beat. Over 12 bars, I rushed by almost a beat, because there's, if you see what I mean, like there would be the one beat, and it's ahead of where it should have been at 80 beats a minute. So I rushed there, and then on the second chorus, I didn't rush as much. That one I was about a beat and a half. Sorry, less than half a beat. This whole thing is the last quarter of the beat. So less than half a beat I rushed, but I still rushed. And then the third chorus, I rushed almost just over a quarter of a beat. So I rushed a little less. And I think that's interesting. In the first chorus, the reason why I think I rushed more is because there's a bit where I have to shut the metronome off. And I remember feeling slightly anxious while I was playing that. So like it's the same thing when you're playing. Like any little distraction, whether it be something external or some technical thing that you run into, or maybe a thought, or you forgot to pay your electric bill, whatever it is, it can cause your time to get off if you're not prioritizing. So I think this part is fascinating. Now if we look at the yellow, now granted I was already used to having to shut the metronome off, but I distinctly remember while I was just shutting it off, I was still prioritizing the subdivisions, and I didn't rush nearly as much. Like look at the first chorus of yellow where I was thinking subdivisions. I did rush a little bit, like an eighth of a beat, and over 12 bars, I don't think that's too bad. It's certainly not as bad as when I wasn't thinking subdivisions. And then this is what I find interesting. In the next chorus, in the second chorus, the reason this little gray bit is here is because this is how much I went over. In other words, my downbeat would have been here, which is, let's see, like well less than a quarter of a beat. I don't know. I don't even know how to quantize that. Like just very, very small amount. So that was pretty much on track. So if anything, I went over a little. So I didn't rush, and therein is the whole ticket right there. Thinking subdivisions cured me of my normal rushing tendency, which was shown in the pink, is now being shown in the yellow. Because on chorus 3, I went over even more, and I went over actually even half a beat longer over 12 beats. So I definitely did not rush there. So that was the result of what I did. And then in terms of how it felt, like I listened to both, and I'm going to put those at the end of the video in case you want to listen to those just for your own analytical purposes, and feel free to make comments if you think something different. But I thought the second one was definitely more sort of funky. I mean, there's no way else to explain it really. I mean, we have these words that try and describe the way music feels, and they can be meaningful or not depending on their context. But I thought the second one was more funky. It was more likely, it was more compelling, as a thing. The first one seemed a little more sort of meandering, which is exactly what happens to me, and I'm proposing many guitarists and many instrumentalists of any instrument. If they're prioritizing the ideas themselves and not the rhythm, then the ideas to the audience are going to feel more, what's the word I just used, vagrant or wandering or something. I don't remember what I just said, but it was something like that. So I encourage you to do this same experiment and let me know how you make out. I'd love to hear the results.